Okay, so once again, let's take this resolve, reconcile, explain question and transform it into a weakening question so that you can see the LSAT, see logical reasoning from the test writer's perspective. They had a choice when they were making this question. They could have made it into a weakening question, but they made it into an RRE question instead. And that's just a superficial difference if you're able to do the transformation. Okay, so you target a claim, right? Remember, step 1 is target a claim. Here, we're going to target this claim, the yet claim, right? 19th century French painting showed a remarkable degree of innovation, unlike French sculpture, which showed little innovation, right? So we're going to target this claim. We're going to slap a negation on it. Now, here in context, the negation is not simply that it didn't show a remarkable degree. The negative version of this would just be something similar to what happened with French sculptures. Right, because the original point here was that there's this big contrast between French sculpture, which had little innovation, versus French painting, which had remarkable degree of innovation. Here, negated, just, French paintings also didn't have a remarkable degree of innovation, right? Perhaps it also showed little innovation. And then, of course, is we need to make this the conclusory statement, therefore, and we have to add some kind of prediction or expectation to it. We expect to find... Right, we expect to find that. Right, we expect to find that 19th century French painting would also have not very much innovation, just like the French sculpture, right, which didn't have lots of innovation. So from these premises, going to this conclusion, and hopefully you can see that it's not a terrible argument. Look, let's just run the argument through. During the 19th century, French Academy was a major sponsor of both painting and sculpture in France, and sponsorship by private individuals had to decrease dramatically by this time. But because the French Academy discouraged innovation in the arts, there was little innovation in French sculpture. Therefore, we should expect to find something similar in painting. In other words, little innovation. That's not a bad argument, right? Like, it just kind of makes sense. Sure, knowing how the art world functioned back in France. So our job here, now that it's a weakening question, is precisely to weaken this argument, to figure out what assumptions have been made and attack the assumption. And this time around, hopefully you're not surprised anymore that the right answer choice is still the right answer choice, right? Like, look, you're making an assumption that sculpture and painting would be subject to the same degree of influence exercised by the French Academy. And that's not a great assumption. Why? Because sculpture and painting are just different. Sculpture, for example, requires a ton of marble, right? Or bronze or whatever the material is. That's pretty expensive. Painting, anybody can just grab a brush and, a canvas, which is going to cost some money, but not as much. So do you see, there's more freedom in painting. You don't have to be tied at the hip, conjoined at the hip to the French Academy if you're a painter. You could just go free, roam free, do your own thing. So perhaps that would be a reason why you shouldn't expect to see little innovation in painting. And that's exactly what answer choice C does. C takes this assumption that whatever influence, whatever restrictive influence the Academy was having over the arts, that restrictive influence would show up in equal measure in sculpture and painting. That was the assumption. C's like no to that assumption. No, because stone was so much more expensive than paint and canvas, and because of that, far more unsponsored paintings were made than unsponsored sculptures.